Yo, it's ODB from OLP, and this is issue 31 of Street Trucks magazine. This is the fourth mini truck on the cover of Street Trucks, and it was April 2002, so 20 years ago this year, and hopefully we'll be hearing more about this truck in the very near future. So what we have here is the 99 GMC Sonoma, owned by Stephen Platt, repping the KMC unit wheels. Got a really badass cover. To me, it was pretty cool. They got Year of the Dragon, so it kind of plays into the whole Hot Wheels theme, which, if we look here, we see Hot Wheels. We can see Stitchcraft in the interior as well. We can see the Extreme Lows logo too. Shout out to Extreme Lows. And the important thing about this truck, many of you know, this was basically a truck that was made into a Hot Wheels, and you can see right there, it says Hot Wheels. So pretty cool stuff. Now, ironically enough, I saw this truck back in September at Cruising for a Cure. There is a new owner. He's in Relaxed Atmosphere. This truck has changed hands a couple of times, but I am thankful to say that this truck is still around. It's still iconic. It's still badass. And this was the Street Trucks cover. Again, stay tuned to OLP. We'll hopefully be talking about this one more soon. Basically known as Steel Flame. And it says here you're looking at the full-size version of a Hot Wheels diecast. Again, Steve Platt, shout out to him. This truck really has stood the test of time with a couple of different owners. Ryan, who works at Count Customs, if I remember correctly, he painted this truck when he was painting under Chaotic. You can see there the super clean interior. A little bit later of the year, S10, so 99. So later in the decade, so you got the more rounded dash. You can see plenty of billet in there, white face gauges, Colorado custom steering wheel, and some nice stereo. When I saw this truck cruise by, I posted a couple of times, I think, some reels, so you can check those out on our Instagram or Facebook. And it was pretty cool to see this truck. You can see here it says just over about a year ago, they ran it in the Word on the Street section. The story went along with the rendering that was Dave Martis and Carson of Mattel Hot Wheels division. They were interested in building some cars and trucks that they could later turn into miniature die casts. They figured that they would be no better way to keep up with the latest trends in the automotive aftermarket than jump into it and commission the construction of some custom vehicles. So this, again, you see their 99 GMC Sonoma. Steve Platt, was from Torrance, California. This feature to me is really awesome because it's 6 pages, but also when you flip here, and again, we want to give credit, Courtney Halliwell, the great, rest in peace to Courtney. Whether this was just the atmosphere at that time around sunset, which I assume it was, you can kind of see a little bit of that coming in here. Man, just, again, when I look at photographers and I look at some of these epic trucks and stuff, a big portion of it was these badass features, showcasing these trucks. And that's certainly what they did here. What Courtney did was shooting this thing. Again, nice sunset in the background. You can see the lights kind of lit up. It looks like Street Trucks was always super clean, man. Just boom, right there in white font. Typically, they're going to have the company or the owner, the shop, the city and state they're from, make and model, and then, of course, the club, if applicable. Now, this truck was also featured, I think, at Sport Truck. You can see right there, Chaotic, that always stood out to me. Kind of has the money painted in the logo there. You can see here the polished Vortex supercharger. I always thought that was cool. Again, it just wasn't all looks. They did have a little bit of power added to it with the supercharger. And don't forget, inside the bed did have work in it. You could see super clean. I always love beds like this, maybe with some sort of bed liner. Of course, they've got the interior on, underneath the tonneau done as well. Super badass truck. Many of you own this Hot Wheels, and speaking of the Hot Wheels, I'll show a little video at the end of the Hot Wheels that I have here in one of my display marquee cases. Here is the public debut of the steel frame diecast from Hot Wheels. This is only the prototype, but the production model should look very similar. So this was kind of cool. It literally came out around this time, if I remember correctly, later or kind of mid in that year. Again, this thing had super clean interior with the gauges there. And this thing is still out cruising the main streets of Cali. I was talking to Ruben the other day, and I told him, I said, man, if I ever own this truck, I'd drive the wheels off of it. You'd have to pry this thing from my hands. That's how much I just think this GMC Sonoma has really stood the test of time. It's a very iconic mini truck, and for it to be on a Hot Wheels, I think just really kind of put it above and over the top. Here it says, at the ripe age of 25, Steve is one of the youngest enthusiasts to be approached by the folks at Mattel for their Hot Wheels project. So pretty cool. And again, we'll hopefully dive into that story pretty soon. You can see the paint, a little bit of the reflection of the sunset there. Pretty badass. Follow us for more truck content. Our lifestyle podcast, OLP for short, which we are your mini truckin' headquarters. Please, again, if you get an opportunity, search OLP via most any podcast app, and we will entertain you. We're 7.5 years strong, but over 4 years, or about 4 years straight of every week. Every Friday we have new episodes. So again, Street Trucks, April 2002, Steel Flame, the year of the Dragon, DRAGGIN. And if we take a look back here, we got MIC holding it down. They gave away crew cut, so they had a lot of advertising tied up. This truck was built and went overseas right afterwards. Still over there. All right, y'all. Appreciate all the support. Again, stay on the rise and tune in to OLP via most podcast apps. We out ya. Peace.